Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for new stories. Jack Harrison had always been drawn to the unknown, the unexplored, the areas of the map that whispered of secrets waiting to be unveiled. His entire career as a marine biologist had been dedicated to unveiling the mysteries of the ocean, but this time, he found himself veering off course, quite literally, due to a fierce storm that ripped through the South Pacific. The storm had come out of nowhere, catching Jack off guard while alone on his research vessel, the Wanderer. Battling the wind and waves, Jack managed to navigate towards a small blip on his radar, an uncharted island that promised shelter and a temporary haven from the relentless storm. As dawn broke, the storm subsided, leaving the Wanderer damaged but afloat. The island before him was lush, rimmed with golden sands and dense foliage that stretched towards the heart of the land. With his boat anchored, Jack grabbed his emergency kit, his curious nature propelling him towards the island's mysterious interior. The beach gave way to a dense jungle, which Jack navigated with practiced ease. The air was thick with the hum of insects and the calls of hidden birds. Sunlight barely reached the jungle floor, filtered through a high canopy. Jack made his way inland, his senses alert to any sign of fresh water or food sources that could sustain him while he planned his repairs. Hours into his exploration, Jack stumbled upon a clear, freshwater stream. As he knelt to refill his water bottle, a glint of something unnatural caught his eye from the underbrush nearby. Curiosity piqued, he approached and found a strange piece of metal, smooth and oddly warm to the touch, embedded in the earth. It was unlike anything he had seen, clearly not a part of the natural island landscape and too refined to be debris from a ship. Following this strange clue, Jack pushed further into the jungle until he came upon a clearing. There, amidst scattered debris that looked decidedly technological and out of place, lay a figure. It was a woman, unconscious, with skin that shimmered subtly, like the inside of a shell, and hair that cascaded around her in a halo of soft, silvery waves. Her clothes were unlike any fabric Jack had ever seen, shifting colors slightly with the light. Despite his initial shock, Jack's instincts as a rescuer kicked in. He checked for injuries, finding none, and gently lifted her head to help her breathe easier. Her breath was steady, but she did not wake. Unsure of how to proceed but knowing he couldn't just leave her there, Jack decided to set up a camp in the clearing. He needed to watch over her until she regained consciousness. As the day waned into evening, Jack prepared a small campfire, the flickering light casting shadows over the alien figure. His mind raced with questions. Who was she? How did she end up here? The technology strewn about suggested a crash of some kind, but from what? His gaze drifted skyward, the stars twinkling brightly above, a stark reminder of the vast, unknown universe. Night deepened around them, and Jack settled in, keeping watch. The crackle of the fire and the night sounds of the jungle were his only company. Suddenly, she stirred. Her eyes fluttered open, revealing irises that reflected the stars above, deep and endlessly black. Startled but composed, Jack offered a gentle smile. "Hey, you're okay," he said soothingly. "You're safe now." The woman looked around, disoriented, then her gaze fixed on Jack with an intensity that made his heart skip a beat. She spoke, her voice musical but with an accent unfamiliar to Jack. "Where am I?" "On an island. You were unconscious in the clearing here." "I found you while looking for shelter," Jack explained, keeping his voice low and calm. The woman sat up slowly, scanning her surroundings and the skies above with a wary eye. "This is Earth, isn't it?" Her question was more to herself than to Jack. "Yes, it's Earth." "How do you know of Earth?" Jack's curiosity grew, along with a realization that he was potentially dealing with something, or someone, extraterrestrial. Her answer was simple, yet it shook Jack to his core. "I was sent to observe, but my ship failed me." Jack took a moment to process her words. An alien, stranded on Earth, possibly from a civilization capable of interstellar travel. The implications were enormous, both personally and globally. He knew he had to help her, but more than that, he wanted to learn from her. This could be his greatest discovery yet. As the fire crackled between them, the alien woman, who introduced herself as Alara, began to share her story. Jack listened, enraptured by the tale of distant worlds and her mission on Earth. As the night wore on, a plan began to form. They would first attempt to repair her communication device in the hopes of contacting her people. After that, the future was an open book. What began as a routine expedition had transformed into the adventure of a lifetime. Jack knew the coming days would be challenging, but as he looked at Alara, who was looking up at the stars that were her home, he felt ready to face whatever came next. Together. The morning after Alara's awakening, Jack awoke to find her examining the components of what appeared to be her ship's communication device. The device itself was compact, no larger than a terrestrial laptop, but its surface was adorned with symbols and a seamless interface that reacted to her touch. He approached cautiously, not wanting to startle her, his curiosity piqued by the technology before him. "Good morning," he said, offering her a friendly smile. "Need any help?" Alara looked up, her expression guarded yet curious. "Good morning, Jack. I might require assistance later, but for now, I am assessing the damage and what resources from this planet I can use for repairs." Jack nodded, understanding her need for space to work, yet his mind buzzed with questions about her world, and how much of what he knew about the universe was about to change. As he prepared a modest breakfast from his rations, he watched her work, noting the ease with which she manipulated the device, despite its apparent damage. Over their meal, Alara shared more about herself. Her home planet, Celestis, orbited a star in what humans called the Andromeda Galaxy, some 2.5 million light-years away. Jack was astounded by the vast distance, yet here she was, sitting across from him. Celestis was a peaceful planet, she explained, where conflict was resolved through dialogue and mutual respect. Her people valued knowledge and exploration, which is why they sent observers like her to other worlds. "Why observe Earth?" Jack asked, his voice tinged with a mix of pride and concern. "We seek to understand other cultures and technological levels to better approach them for future alliances," Alara responded. "Your planet is at a tipping point technologically and socially, it is ripe for contact, but care must be taken." The concept of Earth being observed as a candidate for cosmic alliances was exhilarating to Jack. He wanted to know everything, how they traveled through space, what they knew about the universe, and what Earth might look like from an outsider's perspective. As the day progressed, Jack and Alara moved to the shoreline where some of her ship's wreckage was scattered. They gathered pieces that Alara identified as potentially useful. Jack marveled at the materials, lightweight and incredibly durable, unlike anything he'd ever handled. The sun was setting when they managed to haul the last of the useful wreckage back to their campsite. The evening was spent by the fire, where Alara took the time to teach Jack some basic phrases in her language, a flowing, melodic tongue that fascinated him. In exchange, Jack taught her more about Earth's languages and cultures, finding joy in her amazement at the diversity found on just one planet. As night enveloped the island once more, their conversation drifted to the stars. Alara pointed out constellations from Celestis and shared myths from her world. Jack listened intently, realizing that the stars he'd always looked to for guidance had just expanded his universe exponentially. "Alara, how do you see us? I mean, humans?" Jack asked, a bit hesitant. "You are curious, resourceful, and full of potential," she said after a thoughtful pause. "But also divided, with a capacity for both great kindness and great destruction. It's a duality we've seen in younger civilizations." Her words struck a chord in Jack, reflecting his own observations of humanity. He wondered if this was the moment to push for a deeper understanding between their worlds. The following days were a blur of activity. Using the salvaged parts and some of Jack's tools, they began the intricate process of repairing the communication device. It was a task that required patience and precision, and Jack was impressed by Alara's technical prowess and her ability to improvise with materials that were foreign to her. Through this shared goal, their bond strengthened. Jack found himself not only fascinated by her intellect but moved by her compassion. She cared about her mission, but she also cared about how her findings might affect Earth and its people. This wasn't just a scientific expedition for her, it was a diplomatic one, and she handled it with a grace that made Jack respect her all the more. As they worked, Elara explained more about her technology, including how her ship utilized quantum entanglement for communication across vast distances, a concept Jack had only read about in theory. One afternoon, as they were testing the repaired device, it finally whirred to life, emitting a soft glow. Elara's face lit up with a mix of relief and joy. She turned to Jack, her eyes shining with unspoken gratitude. "Jack, we might be able to send a message soon. If my people receive it, they will come for me," she said, her voice a mixture of excitement and a hint of sadness. Jack felt a twinge in his chest at the thought of her leaving. Over the days, he had come to admire her deeply. "And until they come?" he asked, trying to keep his tone light. "We wait, and we learn from each other," Elara smiled warmly, reaching out to squeeze his hand. That gesture, simple yet profound, sealed a new chapter in their unfolding story. They were two beings from different worlds, yet on that small island, under the vast canopy of stars, they were just Elara and Jack, explorers and friends, waiting for a response from the stars. With the communication device now functional, Jack and Elara shifted their focus to strengthening its signal. The makeshift workshop, scattered with alien technology and human tools, resembled a scene from a science fiction movie, with the added realism of sand underfoot and the constant sound of waves crashing nearby. As they worked, Elara explained the principles of her technology, including the nuances of quantum mechanics that allowed instantaneous communication across galaxies. Jack, though a biologist, had a keen mind for physics and found himself enthralled by the real-world applications of what were, on Earth, largely theoretical concepts. "Elara, how does your society manage such advanced technology responsibly?" Jack asked, his hands busy adjusting a salvaged antenna to fit the alien device. Elara paused, her expression contemplative. "Our technology evolved alongside our ethics. We believe that every technological advance must enhance life, not endanger it. Thus, our advancements are always community-focused, not individually driven." Jack nodded, understanding the stark contrast to some earthly approaches. This sparked a deeper discussion about the societal structures on Celestis, which Elara described as decentralized and highly democratic, relying heavily on consensus and respect for all beings. The days passed with a routine of work, conversation, and shared meals. During one of their working sessions, Elara managed to boost the device's signal, and they sent out a distress call. They settled into an anxious wait for a response, checking the device regularly for any signs of communication from Celestis. One afternoon, while waiting for a reply, Elara suggested they attempt to recover more from her spacecraft, which was submerged off the coast of the island. Equipped with makeshift diving gear, Jack and Elara spent several hours in the water. The ocean floor around the island was a graveyard of Elara's ship, a testament to the violent end of her journey. As they salvaged what they could, Jack was struck by the bittersweet nature of their task. Each piece they retrieved was a reminder of Elara's isolation from her home, yet also a step towards potentially reconnecting with it. They worked in comfortable silence, understanding each other's unspoken thoughts and feelings. That night, as they sorted through the recovered items, Elara found what she was desperately hoping for, an intact data module, crucial for full repairs. Her hands trembled as she held the small, luminescent cube, and Jack felt a surge of hope. "With this, I can restore the ship's navigational systems and maybe even initiate a temporary power-up," Elara explained, her voice filled with excitement. The following days were a flurry of activity. Elara worked tirelessly, her expertise evident as she integrated the data module with the existing systems. Jack assisted as best he could, learning quickly under Elara's tutelage. During their breaks, Elara shared more about her mission on Earth. She was not just an observer, she was also tasked with assessing Earth's readiness for interstellar communication and potential membership in a cosmic federation of planets. This revelation was both thrilling and daunting to Jack. If they decide we're ready, what happens next? Jack asked, a mix of excitement and concern in his voice. Elara looked out towards the ocean, her eyes reflecting the stars above. A new era of cooperation and knowledge exchange. Your world has so much to offer, and so much to learn. Their conversation was interrupted by a soft beep from the communication device. They rushed over, hearts pounding. The screen flickered, and then stabilized, displaying symbols Jack didn't recognize but Elara read with growing relief. They received our message. They're sending help, she announced, her voice a mixture of joy and something else, perhaps apprehension. Jack felt a complex swirl of emotions. The thought of saying goodbye to Elara was painful, yet the success of their efforts and the potential benefits to Earth filled him with pride. They spent the night by the fire, discussing possibilities, dreams, and the future. Days turned into weeks as they prepared for the arrival of Elara's people. They strengthened the signal of the device further, ensuring constant communication. Elara taught Jack about her people's diplomatic protocols, preparing him to meet her rescuers. One quiet morning, as they sat watching the sunrise, Elara turned to Jack with a serious look. Jack, there's something I haven't told you. When my people come, they'll want to assess if Earth can be part of the Federation. This assessment will determine a lot for your world. Jack looked at her, sensing the gravity of her words. What kind of assessment? What are they looking for? Compassion, respect for life, the pursuit of knowledge, and how you treat your planet and each other. They've been observing from afar, but now they'll see up close. Jack understood. This wasn't just a rescue mission, it was a test, one that could change the course of human history. He felt ready, though, inspired by Elara's teachings and the bond they had formed. He was determined to show that Earth was worthy of this incredible opportunity. As they continued their preparations, Jack reflected on all he had learned. Working side by side with Elara had not only expanded his understanding of the universe but had also deepened his appreciation for his own world and its place within the cosmic community. Whatever the outcome, he knew this adventure had changed him forever. In the weeks following the transmission of their distress signal, Jack and Elara's days took on a rhythmic, almost serene quality as they waited for the arrival of Elara's people. They spent their time enhancing the signal, refining the temporary repairs on the communication equipment, and preparing for the potentially historic first contact. Elara, with her deep knowledge of cosmic diplomacy, briefed Jack on the intricacies of interstellar etiquette and the principles that governed the intergalactic federation her people were part of. Jack absorbed every lesson with keen interest, realizing the weight of responsibility that would soon fall on his shoulders as a representative of Earth. One clear evening, as they sat by their usual campfire, the communication device beeped a different tone, an incoming message. They rushed to the device, and Elara translated the incoming data. Her face, usually calm and composed, showed a flicker of concern. They are closer than expected, but it's not my people who are coming first, she said slowly. Another civilization intercepted the signal. They are curious about this planet and its inhabitants. The news sent a chill down Jack's spine. What do we know about them? Are they friendly? Elara took a moment before answering. They are known explorers, part of the Federation, but their methods can be direct. We must be cautious but welcoming. The reality of their situation became starkly clear. This wasn't just a rescue mission anymore, it was a first contact scenario, with all the attendant risks and opportunities. Jack felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension as he asked, what should we do next? We prepare to meet them as representatives of Earth. We show them respect, demonstrate our culture's value, and most importantly, our planet's potential for peaceful interstellar collaboration, Elara instructed. The next few days were a flurry of activity. Jack and Elara constructed a makeshift landing zone using materials from the island and remnants of Elara's spacecraft. They set up signal markers and prepared a series of presentations about Earth, its cultures, and its technological progress. As the day of the arrival drew near, the sky seemed to buzz with unspoken anticipation. Jack couldn't help but scan the horizons, both excited and nervous about the upcoming encounter. Finally, the moment arrived. A bright streak lit the sky, growing larger and more defined until it was clear it was a spacecraft descending toward their island. Jack's heart pounded as he stood next to Alara, watching the ship land gracefully near their camp. The craft was sleek, metallic, and emitted a soft humming sound that resonated with a strange harmony. The hatch opened, and 3 beings stepped out. They were taller than humans, with iridescent skin that shifted in color with the light, and eyes that seemed to see straight through to one's core. Alara stepped forward, her posture composed as she greeted them in their language. The aliens responded, their voices a chorus of melodic tones that filled the air with a vibrating energy. Jack followed Alara's lead, bowing slightly, as she had instructed. The leader of the group introduced himself as Kale, a commander of a scouting vessel for the Galactic Federation. His companions were scientists, here to learn about Earth and evaluate its civilization. The initial exchanges were cautious but polite, with Alara facilitating a dialogue that bridged the vast cultural and linguistic gaps. Jack took his turn to speak, using the phrases Alara had taught him, expressing Earth's greetings and hopes for peaceful relations. Kale and his team listened intently, their expressions unreadable. As the sun set, they shared a meal prepared by Jack, featuring dishes from various Earth cuisines. Kale and his team were curious and appreciative, asking many questions about Earth's history, its environmental challenges, and its diverse societies. After the meal, the conversation shifted to more serious matters. Kale explained that their interest in Earth was part of a broader mission to understand the emerging civilizations in this quadrant of the galaxy. Our mission is to ensure that emerging planets like yours are ready for the broader realities of the cosmos, Kale explained. We seek to understand your people's capacity for peace, innovation, and ethical governance. Jack felt the weight of their scrutiny but was determined to represent Earth positively. He talked about Earth's recent advances in renewable energy, efforts to combat climate change, and the various peacekeeping missions that united different nations. Alara supported his presentation, adding her observations of Earth's potential for growth and harmony. She spoke of the resilience and compassion she had witnessed in Jack and in the stories he had shared about other Earthlings. As the meeting concluded, Kale nodded thoughtfully, his gaze lingering on the horizon. We will observe and learn more during our stay. Your planet is at a crossroads, and the paths it chooses next will be crucial, he said, a statement that resonated with both hope and warning. Jack and Alara exchanged glances, understanding the enormity of what was at stake. As Kale and his team returned to their ship for the night, Jack felt a mixture of relief and anticipation. The next few days would be critical in determining Earth's place in the cosmic community. That night, under the stars, Jack and Alara discussed their next steps. We need to show them not just what Earth is, Jack said, but what it could become. Alara nodded, her eyes reflecting the starlight. And we will, Jack. Together, we will show them the heart of your world. As they prepared for the days ahead, Jack realized that this encounter might change his life and the future of Earth forever. He was ready to face whatever challenges came next, with Alara by his side. The days following the arrival of Kale and his team were a blend of diplomacy and intense cultural exchange. Jack and Alara worked tirelessly, serving as intermediaries and guides to the alien visitors who were eager to understand the intricacies of Earth's environment and societies. Each morning began with a briefing where Kale outlined the objectives for the day. These ranged from ecological assessments to discussions about technological advancements. The visitors were particularly interested in Earth's efforts to reverse environmental damage and the role of technology in these endeavors. Jack took the lead in arranging visits to virtual representations and providing detailed simulations of Earth's major cities and natural reserves, facilitated by the advanced technology Kale's team brought with them. These sessions were eye-opening for the visitors, showcasing both the beauty of Earth and the challenges it faced. During one such session, Kale's team expressed curiosity about Earth's social structures and governance. Jack explained the concept of nation-states, the variety of governmental systems, and the ongoing efforts towards global cooperation. Elara supplemented this with insights into human psychology and cultural diversity, drawing parallels with other planets in the Federation that had similar growth trajectories. As each day passed, Jack felt the initial tension ease into a cautious camaraderie. The aliens, while reserved, began to show genuine interest in learning about Earth, asking thoughtful questions and even sharing some of their own experiences with similar planetary cultures. This exchange deepened the mutual understanding, paving the way for more substantive discussions about potential alliances. One afternoon, the group visited a nearby marine sanctuary that Jack had been instrumental in establishing. As a marine biologist, he was eager to show the visitors the biodiversity of Earth's oceans, which were teeming with life. The aliens were equipped with translation technology that allowed them to understand the calls of marine animals, a feature that fascinated them and provided a deeper appreciation for Earth's ecological complexity. Kale, who had been somewhat inscrutable until then, showed a particular interest in the conservation efforts. "Your planet has a profound natural heritage," he observed. "It is vital that such treasures are preserved, not just for your own sake but for the galaxy at large." Jack nodded, pleased. "We're learning. It's been a hard road, but there's a growing global commitment to protect these resources." That evening, as they gathered around a specially prepared international buffet, the atmosphere was lighter. The visitors had begun to share more about themselves, their travels, and their observations of other worlds. Their stories were filled with strange and wonderful details of distant galaxies, but also tales of challenges they faced, such as resource depletion and interstellar conflicts. Kale's second-in-command, a scientist named Lyra, was particularly interested in Earth's art and culture. She spent hours discussing with Jack the various forms of Earth music, literature, and visual arts. "Art is a reflection of a civilization's soul," Lyra explained. "It tells us much about the values, fears, and hopes of a people." Moved by her interest, Jack organized a small cultural event the next day. Local artists and musicians were invited to perform, showcasing a wide array of Earth's cultural heritage. The visitors were visibly moved by the performances, with several of them, including Kale, expressing a newfound respect for the emotional depth and creativity of humans. As the cultural event drew to a close, Kale approached Jack and Elara. "We have seen many worlds, but Earth uniquely combines diversity with intensity of expression," he said. "There is much here that deserves to be part of the larger cosmic dialogue." Elara smiled at Jack, her eyes shining with pride. "Jack, your world has more advocates now," she whispered to him as the group prepared to leave the venue. The following days were spent in discussions about possible future steps. Kale outlined what Earth might expect if it were to join the Galactic Federation. This included technology transfers, educational exchanges, and a role in interstellar governance. Jack found himself at the center of these discussions, advocating for Earth's interests, ensuring that any agreements would respect Earth's sovereignty and contribute to its development. Elara was by his side, her knowledge of galactic law and diplomacy proving invaluable. By the time Kale and his team prepared to depart, the initial apprehension had given way to hopeful anticipation. As they stood at the makeshift landing zone, saying their goodbyes, Kale turned to Jack and Elara. "Earth has shown us its potential and its challenges," he said, holding out his hand. "We will take our observations back to the Federation. The decision will not be immediate, but I am hopeful. You have been excellent ambassadors for your planet." Jack shook his hand, feeling a surge of mixed emotions. "Thank you, Kale. We hope for a positive outcome." As the alien ship lifted off, leaving a silent, empty space beside them, Jack and Elara stood watching the sky, their thoughts turned towards the future. The possibility of Earth joining a cosmic community was now more real than ever, and Jack felt a profound sense of responsibility and excitement for what lay ahead. Elara placed her hand on his shoulder. Whatever comes next, we face it together. Earth and Celestis, and perhaps, in time, the rest of the galaxy. Jack nodded, watching the stars where the ship had disappeared. The night was quiet around them, but the air thrummed with the pulse of new possibilities. The first contact had been made, bridges were being built, and for Jack, the adventure was just beginning. The days following Cale and his team's departure were filled with a cautious optimism on the island. Jack and Elara took the time to compile detailed reports of their interactions, the cultural exchanges, and the assessments made by the alien visitors. They transmitted this data back to Celestis via the communication device, which still flickered occasionally with incoming messages of encouragement and procedural advice from Elara's superiors. However, the atmosphere changed dramatically one morning when an unexpected transmission came through. Elara deciphered the alien script, her face growing increasingly pale as she read. "Jack, there's a problem," she said, her voice tense. "What kind of problem?" Jack asked, feeling a knot form in his stomach. "It seems that the peaceful intentions of Cale's team aren't shared by all within the Galactic Federation. A faction within their military arm has expressed concerns about Earth. They see it not as a potential ally but as a potential threat, or worse, a resource to be exploited," Elara explained gravely. Jack felt his heart sink. The thought of Earth becoming a battleground for interstellar politics was terrifying. Can they do that? Just decide to override what Cale's team recommended? It's complicated. The Federation operates through consensus, but if a strong enough faction pushes for a different agenda, they can sway decisions. "We need to prepare for a potential confrontation," Elara said, turning back to the device. Preparations began in earnest. Using the remaining materials from Elara's spacecraft, along with Jack's knowledge of Earth's technological defenses, they set up surveillance around the island and established protocols for an emergency alert to Earth's governments. Despite the primitive nature of Earth's technology compared to the aliens, Jack's ingenuity and Elara's alien equipment combined to create a surprisingly effective defensive network. As they worked, the tension between them grew, not from conflict, but from the shared burden of what they were preparing for. They trained together, Elara teaching Jack some basic hand-to-hand combat techniques from her world and discussing strategies in case of an encounter. Days turned into weeks with no sign of the alien military. Then, one early morning, the surveillance system picked up an anomaly off the coast. A ship, much larger than Cale's scout ship, was approaching. It was sleek and dark, cutting through the ocean with barely a ripple, an ominous sign of the advanced technology aboard. Elara and Jack watched from a hidden command center they had set up in the dense forest. As the ship landed, several beings disembarked, their attire clearly military, their movements precise and coordinated. They began setting up equipment on the beach, scanning the island. "We need to communicate with them, try to understand their intentions directly," Elara said. "If we can show them that we pose no threat, perhaps we can avoid conflict." Jack agreed, and together they approached the group, broadcasting their intention to parley in the universal signals Elara had taught him. The soldiers paused, their leader, a stern-looking individual with sharp features, stepping forward to greet them. Elara spoke in the Galactic common language, explaining their role as ambassadors for Earth and the peaceful nature of their mission. The leader, who introduced himself as Commander Varek, listened but his response was dismissive. "Your words speak of peace, but we have been advised of the potential dangers your planet represents, not only to us but to the stability of the sector. We are here to assess these risks ourselves," Varek stated flatly. The negotiations were tense, with Jack and Elara doing their best to assure the commander of Earth's peaceful intentions. Varek agreed to observe and report back to his superiors but made it clear that his orders were to secure the planet as a precaution. Over the following days, Varek's team conducted their assessment, which felt more like a military survey than a diplomatic visit. They mapped the island extensively, took numerous samples, and monitored Jack and Alara's communications. Despite the strain, Jack found an unlikely rapport developing between himself and one of Varek's officers, Lieutenant Mira, who seemed more open to understanding Earth's culture. They had several quiet conversations, during which Jack shared stories about Earth's history, its struggles for peace, its art, and its aspirations. Mira was particularly moved by a video Jack showed her of various Earth landscapes and cityscapes, bustling with life and diversity. "There is much beauty here, much worth protecting," Mira confessed after watching the footage. "Not all of us see your world as just a strategic asset." Encouraged by this connection, Jack pushed for a formal meeting with Commander Varek, hoping to sway him with the same insights. They gathered in the command center, where Jack and Alara presented a comprehensive view of Earth, highlighting the efforts made to overcome internal conflicts and environmental challenges. Varek listened, his expression unreadable. After a long pause, he finally spoke. "I will relay what I have learned here to my superiors. The decision, however, is not mine to make." As the alien team prepared to leave, Jack felt a mix of hope and foreboding. He and Alara had done everything they could to present Earth in a truthful, positive light. Now, all they could do was wait for the decision from the Galactic Federation, hoping that the seeds of understanding they had planted might bear fruit in favor of Earth's future. The departure of Commander Varek and his team marked the beginning of an anxious waiting period for Jack and Alara. They continued to maintain the island's defenses and surveillance systems, unsure of what decision the Galactic Federation would reach regarding Earth. Their days were filled with routine checks and strategy sessions, but the silence from above was unnerving. One morning, as they were scanning the latest data from the surveillance network, the communication device crackled to life. A message was coming through, and Alara quickly worked to decode it. The script was familiar, it was from Kale. "He says a council meeting has been scheduled to discuss Earth," Alara relayed, her eyes scanning the message. "Kale has put forth a strong recommendation for peaceful integration and mutual learning. He's urging the Council to consider our shared experiences and the potential for Earth's positive contribution to the Federation." Jack felt a rush of relief. Kale's support could be a turning point. But he also knew the weight that opposition within the military faction could carry. "What about Varek and his findings?" he asked. "The message doesn't specify, but Kale mentions that there are varied opinions among the Council members. It seems Varek's report may have stirred some concern, but also curiosity about Earth," Alara explained. They decided to send a comprehensive communication to the Council, outlining their own experiences and observations, including the positive interactions with Kale's team and even the more complex engagements with Varek's forces. Alara emphasized Earth's cultural diversity, resilience, and the strides made in sustainable development. As they waited for the Council's decision, Jack focused on strengthening their camp and improving their makeshift communication hub. He wanted to ensure they could maintain a direct line to the Federation, no matter the outcome. Weeks passed with no response. The tension was palpable. Jack and Alara spent long nights discussing potential scenarios, preparing both their defenses and their diplomatic arguments. Then, early one morning, the device signaled an incoming transmission. It was a live feed, from the Galactic Federation Council. Jack and Alara watched as various alien representatives appeared on the screen, a visual mosaic of the Federation's diversity. Kale was there, speaking passionately about Earth's potential alliance. He highlighted the artistic and scientific contributions Earth could make, referencing historical achievements and current innovations. He spoke of the environmental efforts Jack had showcased and the philosophical and ethical debates that enriched Earth's cultural landscape. Following Kale's presentation, Commander Varek gave his report. He acknowledged the military's concerns about Earth's turbulent history and potential for conflict, but he also noted the efforts towards peace and environmental stewardship that he had witnessed. His tone was unexpectedly balanced, perhaps swayed by his interactions with Jack and Alara. The debate among the council was vigorous. Some expressed fear and skepticism, others curiosity and hope. Ilara translated their words for Jack, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. After what seemed like hours, the council president called for a vote. The result was close, but in the end, the decision was made: Earth would be given a chance to prove itself as a potential member of the Galactic Federation, starting with a provisional period of observation and limited technological exchange to aid in Earth's further development. Jack and Ilara were overjoyed. It was a monumental step forward, a chance to bridge Earth with the stars. They immediately began preparations to host the first official Federation delegation, which would include scientists, cultural scholars, and environmental experts. The delegation arrived weeks later, a mix of species and professions, each eager to engage with Earth and evaluate its progress. Jack and Ilara acted as hosts and mediators, facilitating workshops, tours, and exchanges that spanned scientific cooperation, artistic collaborations, and environmental solutions. These interactions were broadcast globally, sparking a wave of excitement and hope across Earth. People from various nations and disciplines volunteered to participate, sharing their knowledge and learning from the alien visitors. The provisional period was a time of intense growth and mutual learning, strengthening the case for Earth's full membership in the Federation. Throughout this time, Jack and Ilara's bond deepened. They had been through trials that few could understand, and their shared commitment to seeing Earth through this pivotal period drew them closer. As the provisional period neared its end, the Federation conducted a final review. The delegation reported not only on Earth's technological and environmental progress but also on the cultural richness and ethical capacities that had flourished during this time of interstellar collaboration. On the day of the final decision, Jack and Ilara stood together, watching the council session on the live feed. The council president announced the result: Earth would be welcomed as a full member of the Galactic Federation. Cheers erupted around the world as the news was broadcast. Humanity was stepping into a wider universe filled with new allies, challenges, and opportunities. Jack looked at Ilara, gratitude and wonder in his eyes. "We did it," he said, his voice thick with emotion. Ilara smiled, her eyes reflecting the stars that were now part of their shared journey. "We did it together, Jack. Earth and Celestis, and all of us, together." Their adventure had changed them and their world forever. As Earth prepared to embrace its role in the cosmic community, Jack and Ilara looked forward to the future, ready to face whatever it might bring, with the stars as their guide. After Earth's acceptance into the Galactic Federation, the world underwent a transformative period. As ambassadors, Jack and Ilara became pivotal figures in the integration process, facilitating the blending of Earth's cultures and technologies with those of the interstellar community. The initial months were a whirlwind of activity. With the full membership came the responsibility of setting up interplanetary exchange programs. Science, technology, arts, and governance, every sector was involved. Jack and Ilara worked tirelessly, coordinating these exchanges, ensuring that Earth's introduction to galactic society was smooth and beneficial. One of the first initiatives was the establishment of a Galactic Cultural Exchange Center on Earth, located in Geneva, Switzerland. This center became a hub for aliens and humans alike to learn from each other, share experiences, and collaborate on projects. Jack oversaw the construction and operation of the center, which quickly filled with alien artifacts, artworks, and technology displays, alongside Earth's contributions. Meanwhile, Ilara focused on environmental collaborations. The Federation introduced Earth to advanced ecological technologies that could help reverse the damage done by centuries of industrial expansion. These technologies were not just given, they were taught. Teams of Earth scientists and alien experts worked together to implement projects like atmospheric purifiers, ocean cleaners, and reforestation drones that operated at scales previously unimaginable. As Earth's environment began to show signs of recovery, public opinion shifted dramatically in favor of the new galactic relationships. Skepticism turned into optimism as people saw tangible improvements in their daily lives and the health of the planet. Ilara also initiated a program called Voices of Earth, which aimed to document and share human cultural and philosophical insights with the Federation. This program was particularly close to her heart, as it allowed her to blend her deep respect for her new home with her mission to foster interstellar understanding and peace. Jack found himself at the forefront of technological integration. The Federation's tech was advanced, but they were cautious not to overwhelm Earth's existing systems. Under his guidance, Earth's tech firms adapted to incorporate alien technologies in sectors like energy, transportation, and medicine. This careful integration spurred a new age of innovation that propelled Earth's industries to new heights. Throughout these developments, Jack and Elara maintained a close partnership, their bond deepened by their shared responsibilities and dreams. They often reflected on their journey from that first tense meeting on a remote island to these bustling days of interstellar collaboration. The pinnacle of their efforts came when Earth hosted the Galactic Unity Festival, a celebration of the planet's full membership in the Federation. Representatives from countless worlds gathered to share their cultures, cuisines, music, and ideals. The festival was held in various locations around the globe, with the main event in New York City, transforming Central Park into a mosaic of interstellar unity. Jack and Elara walked through the festival, hand in hand, marveling at the scenes around them. Children played with levitating toys from Xanthus, while their parents sampled dishes from a dozen planets. Artists from across the galaxy painted murals that depicted scenes of peace and cooperation, and musicians created symphonies that blended the sounds of different worlds into harmonious melodies. As they reached the festival's central stage, Jack looked out over the crowd, a tapestry of Earth's and the galaxy's diversity. He turned to Elara, his heart full. "Look at what we've helped to create," he said. Elara smiled, her eyes bright. "It's beautiful, isn't it? A dream realized." They were called to the stage, where the Federation's president was giving a speech about Earth's journey to this point. As they stood before the assembly, the president welcomed them with warm words. "Jack Harrison and Elara of Celestis, none of this would have been possible without your courage, wisdom, and unwavering dedication. You have shown us all what is possible when beings from different worlds come together in the spirit of friendship and cooperation." The crowd erupted in applause, a sound that echoed through the park and, Jack felt, across the cosmos. He took a moment to soak it all in, the noise, the colors, the sense of accomplishment. Later, as the festival continued into the night, Jack and Elara stole a moment for themselves beside a tranquil lake, watching as bioluminescent lights from a distant world floated gently on the water, mingling with Earth's own nocturnal glow. "This is just the beginning, isn't it?" Jack asked, watching the lights dance on the water. "Yes, the beginning of a new era," Elara replied. "For both Earth and the Federation. There will be challenges, but also wonders we can't yet imagine." They stood together, contemplating the future. Around them, the festival buzzed with life and laughter, a testament to the resilience and beauty of unity in diversity. As they turned back to join the festivities, hand in hand, the stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, the universe a little larger, and their place within it more secure than ever. They were ready to face whatever came next, with the stars as their guide and Earth as their beloved home. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. For more exciting HFY stories. Your support means the world to us. And make sure to tap the bell icon, so you never miss an update. Stay tuned for our next adventure, and until then, keep exploring the stars. See you in the next video.